So which Ferragamo is the best? In this video we're going to break down every fragrance released so far and discuss the good, the bad and everything in between. There are some fantastic scents in this line, so make sure you watch the entire video. Before I begin, drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments which of these is your absolute favorite and how you would rank them. So it took me some time to buy them all, and I definitely feel there are some gems in this line. So let's start with the original Ferragamo. Ferragamo opens up with a very smooth mix of sage and lemon. So you get a bit of citrusy and aromatic freshness right away. It's really not a loud kind of freshness, but it's so smooth. Wait a bit and in comes a soft dose of violet together with a very smooth dose of soft leather. To my nose, this is actually more of a cashmere or suede than something that is sort of a deep leather. The full drawdown is where it changes into a mostly woody and musky scent with a bit of freshness and a soft kind of sweetness. It's got this velvety kind of feel to it that makes it feel like a blue fragrance but done with a twist. I know quite a few feel it's quite similar to Versace Eros, but to me it falls into a mix of something from the Y collection and something from the Mont Blanc Explorer line. I feel this is an everyday kind of scent with its mix of woodiness and freshness. I also feel it's more of a mature kind of scent. Performance is unfortunately just above average, and on my skin this is not a strong fragrance. So let's move on to Ferragamo Intense Leather. And this opens up a bit less fresh than the original with a mix of bright pepper, soft citrus and soft powderiness. And then it draws down to a leathery scent with a bit of fruitiness, a bit of sweetness and a very noticeable but smooth dose of earthiness. To me it's intense in that I do feel it has a lot more character and uniqueness compared to the original. While the leather is prominent, it's really not intense. And like the original, it's more of a versatile, smooth and in a way more mass appealing kind of leather than anything else. While the original could be placed among different everyday kind of fragrances, I do feel this is more unique. And I actually feel it stands out among leather scents as a more versatile alternative with its smooth leather. I know some feel Ferragamo Intense Leather is very similar to Rojas Mustache, but to me they are different. Performance is above average and definitely better than the original, but it's not a strong scent. I think Intense Leather is a masculine scent, and the vibe of it, at least to my nose, definitely makes it more of an evening scent. But you could see it as a more versatile kind of leather scent and use it as such. So let's move on to Ferragamo Spicy Leather. This goes in a very different direction compared to the others, and to my nose it opens up with an intensely zesty dose of citrus together with saffron. I absolutely love how that freshness is combined with a bit of spicy warmth, and to my nose this is actually quite a unique opening. And then it draws down to a mix of smooth leather with an almost balsamic kind of woodiness with clary sage cutting through it all. I really like how that aromatic freshness cuts through everything and how it brings balance to it all. To me, as you probably can see by the dent I put into it, there's something very addictive about spicy leather. This is one of my easier to wear leather scents, and I do feel it has quite a bit of uniqueness to it. The performance overall is above average, and the longevity is above the average of the line. It's a classy and masculine vibe with a bit of sexiness to it, and I do feel this one works equally well for formal and casual occasions. Bright Leather came next, and it's also a leather scent, but it's very different if you compare it to the rest. You get a bright and light citrusy freshness in the opening, made even fresher and sort of taken in a green direction with a dose of basil. The drawdown is where everything changes into a mix of musk and woods with a soft and light kind of leather and a bit of the freshness from the opening. This is indeed a bright leather. I think it's more of a soft and light kind of suede rather than like a deep leather, and the suede definitely takes a backseat to its woody and fresh side. I know some feel bright leather is very close to the Dior Farnight DNA, and I agree that there are some similarities to both like Farnight Aqua and the cologne, but there are also some clear differences. Bright Leather doesn't have that noticeable dose of violet that both of those have, and I do feel Bright Leather in a way is a more versatile alternative to those. And in a way one could say that Bright Leather is a freshie that's woody with a very light sway to it. The performance is just above average, and it's really not a strong fragrance. Its casual yet classy vibe makes it suitable for both casual and formal occasions. I think Bright Leather is for someone who likes fresh scents I want something that's a bit different thanks to its soft leather and its green side. Red Leather opens up in a fresh, bright and almost fizzy, spicy and citrusy way with ginger and bergamot. The ginger is really the star of the opening and it quickly moves into a heart that's aromatic and softly powdery. The drawdown is where Red Leather turns into a smoothly woody, softly leathery blend that's a bit powdery. The leather here is more like smooth suede than something that is sort of a deep leather. and its powderiness is of the light kind. I don't know exactly what it is about it, but pretty much every single time I've worn it, I've had someone say I smell good. I think it's the oris and parts of its spicy freshness that gives me a bit of vibes from something like Armani Code Parfum with a bit of Prada L'Homme, but without Code Parfum's airy, fresh powderiness and without Code's vanilla. And it doesn't have the Code scent DNA, and it definitely doesn't have Prada L'Homme's scent DNA. Red leather is really for someone who loves softly powdery and softly leathery scents that are a bit woody with a bit of freshness. The vibe here is casual, class and elegance with a sexy attitude. Performance is just above average. People do pick up on it, but mostly only for like the first hour, and it's really not a strong fragrance. I think red leather works just as well for casual and formal occasions. Next up is the last one I bought, and Sublime Leather is very different compared to everything else in the line. You get this sexy, smooth, spicy kick mixed with a bit of fruitiness and freshness in the opening, and it quickly moves into a heart that combines sweet creamy vanilla with a dose of cedarwood. So you get this spicy, warm yet fruity fresh combo with sweet vanilla, and the whole thing is a bit woody. The drawdown is where everything in the heart is amplified and the vanilla grows stronger. It definitely gets a bit more sweet. Its woodiness starts to take over and you get a dose of very smooth leather in the background. Sublime Leather could be described as a sweet woody scent that's softly leathery and quite ambery. The way the fruity side pops against the woodiness, leather and amberness is really nice. To me, Sublime Leather is this line's take on Le Male Parfum mixed with something from Eau d'Ambre leather, but without Le Male Parfum's powderiness and with a softer leather than Eau d'Ambre leather. It's not exactly like those, so don't expect it to be. However, I do feel it's almost like a fusion of those, but done with a twist. Sublime Leather is definitely the nighttime, sexy and more daring one in the line, and to me it's definitely a scent for date nights and going out. Performance is above average, but it's definitely not a very strong scent. So I thought of different ways to try and separate these other than how I describe them. So here's a quick one where I sort of single out the one that stands out in different categories. The most blonde buy friendly one is probably Sublime Leather, closely followed by the original. These two will most likely feel the most familiar to most. The freshest one is a tough one because there are different types of freshness competing against each other, but I'm gonna give it to Bright Leather. The warmest one is easily Sublime Leather. The overall most versatile one for everyday use is going to be the OG, almost a tie with Red Leather. The most unique one is a very tough one because I do feel there are several, but I'm gonna give it to Spicy Leather, which really stands out in my collection. The strongest one is almost a tie between two in the line, and I keep going back and forth between Spicy Leather and Sublime, but I'm gonna give it to Spicy Leather because of its longevity. But again, at least on my skin, no scent in this line is overly strong. The sexiest one is Sublime. The classiest one is another tough one, but I'm gonna give it to Intense Leather. So let's rank these Ferragamos, and I'll also share why I rank them this way. My least favorite is Red Leather. I do enjoy it. It definitely gets compliments, but I do rank the others higher. Fifth place was a tough one because it could almost be a toss-up between Bright Leather and this one. But Bright Leather just makes me smile a bit more, and I finally landed on the original. I think it's pretty hard to go wrong with the original. I do like that it's versatile. In fourth place comes Bright Leather. It's a subtle kind of head turner that almost always lands me a comment, but the top three, at least to me, stand out more. Next up is one of the most well-made ones in the line, and I think it stands out with its almost niche-like scent. Intense Leather goes in a richer and more unique way compared to the original, and it takes third. Before I share my favorite, I really want to know which of these you think is the best and why. Let me know your thoughts on these and how you would rank them. And please do drop a like and subscribe. So it's between Sublime Leather and Spicy Leather, and I bought Spicy Leather long before I bought Sublime Leather, and I used it a lot and I love it. The newer Sublime Leather goes in such a different direction and I really like it. It's got something unique to it, but at the same time, between the two, I also think it's a bit more familiar. This is a tough one, but I gotta give it to Spicy Leather. It has grown on me so much since I bought it, and I think it's a unique and simple but fantastic scent. Check out my other videos over there, and I'll see you in the next one.